The movie starts with a voiceover talking about the war between Nazi soldiers and the Allied countries. A Nazi soldier on a white horse inspects a battlefield but gets attacked and killed by Sergeant Don Collier, known as Wardaddy. He lets the horse go and returns to his tank named Fury, where his crew, Boyd, Bible, Trini Gordo, and Grady Kunas, are. Kunas blames Wardaddy for their situation. They're all upset about losing a comrade and get attacked again. When Kunas finishes fixing the tank, they leave the battlefield. At the Allied camp, Wardaddy talks with Sergeant Binkowski, and then a soldier asks about the rest of the platoon, but Wardaddy's crew is the only survivors. Bible, Gordo, and Kunas discuss their fallen friend, Red, until Wardaddy arrives and gives them orders. Wardaddy is also grieving for Red. Private Norman Ellison, a new soldier, introduces himself as Wardaddy's assistant driver. Wardaddy is surprised since Norman is new to the army. He instructs Norman to follow orders and keep his distance. Norman joins the crew, and they tease him about his lack of experience. Kunas tells him to clean the inside of Fury, where Norman discovers a gruesome sight and vomits outside the tank. Meanwhile, Wardaddy talks to fellow soldiers about their situation when a prisoner, an SS soldier, is brought in. They attack him but are stopped by their comrades. The prisoner advises Norman to kill every German soldier he sees, revealing Norman hasn't killed anyone yet. Wardaddy gives him a gun, and Kunas teaches him how to use it. Wardaddy discusses the next move with the soldiers. He will lead the platoon for their mission. They mount up and head out, passing evacuating people. Wardaddy warns to watch out for hidden enemies. Norman hesitates to shoot someone from the trees, leading to an ambush. During the ambush, a tank explodes and Norman sees a soldier burning himself. Wardaddy pursues and kills the enemies, who turn out to be kids. He scolds Norman for hesitating, burdening him with guilt. Wardaddy takes charge and continues the mission. They meet a soldier who takes Wardaddy to Captain Wagner. Despite frustration over insufficient backup, Wagner trusts Wardaddy and discusses the mission to rescue pinned-down soldiers. They gear up and begin the mission. While rescuing the soldiers, they come under heavy fire. Norman, still inexperienced, panics while reloading his gun, but Bible saves him from an enemy soldier. Gordo scolds Norman and orders him to shoot an enemy on the ground, insisting they need to confirm the kill. Norman hesitates, feeling they're already defeated, but Gordo pushes him. Norman breaks down, not wanting to fight anymore. Wardaddy scolds him while Gordo consoles him, explaining it's part of war. Eventually, they defeat the Nazi soldiers. A soldier prays for a dying man, and Wardaddy discusses Norman's mistakes. Norman reveals he's not trained for combat. He was abruptly sent to Germany. Other soldiers catch a Nazi wearing an American jacket. Wardaddy orders Norman to kill him. When Norman refuses, Wardaddy forces the gun into his hand, making him pull the trigger, traumatizing him. They continue to a nearby town, finding bodies of Germans who refuse to fight. They capture the town after a shootout, rescuing forced combatants and killing their leader. The soldiers celebrate victory. Gordo and Kunas flirt with a German woman, indulging in questionable activities. Wardaddy praises Norman for killing enemies, but Norman responds sarcastically. Wardaddy takes him to an office filled with dead, discussing war's reality to make Norman understand. When they step outside, Wardaddy notices a woman peering from a window. He and Norman promptly investigate her apartment, finding Irma and her cousin Emma hiding. Wardaddy decides to stay for a while, paying Irma with cigarettes for a meal and hot water for shaving. While the women prepare food, everyone is surprised to hear Norman play the piano. Emma sings along as Norman plays, and Wardaddy encourages Norman to spend time with her. They move to the bedroom, and though Irma hesitates, Wardaddy advises her to let them enjoy themselves. Inside, Norman and Emma share a tender moment. Later, as they're about to eat, Bible, Gordo, and Kunas interrupt, claiming a woman is waiting for Norman in the tank. When they see Emma, they realize what happened and start teasing Norman and harassing Emma. Wardaddy intervenes to stop them. During the meal, Gordo tells a story causing tension among the soldiers. Wardaddy warns them not to spoil the meal, but Gordo continues, talking about befriending and killing a horse. Wardaddy tries to stop him, but Bible and Kunas support Gordo. Afterward, Wardaddy sarcastically thanks them for the talk, slamming the table and spitting on Kunas. Gordo apologizes as a soldier arrives to call them. They're ordered to capture and hold a crossroad, a dangerous mission with uncertain challenges. While preparing, a German shell hits Irma in Emma's house. Norman rushes to help, finding Emma dead, further traumatizing him. Kunas tries to get him back to the tank, but Norman refuses. Kunas lets him vent his anger and then guides him back. As they head out, Norman is still devastated. Wardaddy tells him death is part of war. En route, they're ambushed by enemy soldiers in a Tiger tank. Despite the platoon's struggle, they lose Sergeant Davis, Sergeant Binkowski, and others. Fury faces off with the Tiger tank. With Wardaddy's strategy, they destroy it, but their platoon is decimated, leaving only Wardaddy's group. Unable to contact superiors due to a damaged radio, Wardaddy, Bible, Gordo, Kunas, and Norman laugh off their predicament and continue the mission. Fury hits a landmine at the crossroad, immobilizing it. Wardaddy sends Kunas and Norman to check a nearby building, where Kunas apologizes to Norman. Finding only a dead German soldier, they return. Wardaddy orders Norman to guard from high ground. During a meal, Norman hears something and spots a battalion of German soldiers approaching. He rushes to warn Wardaddy, who recognizes them as the S Battalion. Bible wants to flee, but Wardaddy insists on staying to complete the mission, though Kunas doubts their chances against the battalion. In the end, Wardaddy allows them to leave if they wish, but he insists on staying to hold the crossroad, emphasizing their mission's importance. As the platoon leader, he can't abandon it. Norman decides to stay, and one by one, the others follow suit. They ask Wardaddy about his plan, and he orders them to retrieve and burn the dead German soldier, then disguise Fury as a destroyed tank and hide inside. With limited ammo, they wait for the right moment to strike. While preparing weapons inside, Wardaddy finds alcohol and they share a final drink, aware this may be their last time together. Bible talks about a meaningful verse, surprised when Wardaddy quotes the same book and chapter. They nickname Norman Machine for its combat prowess, jokingly referring to him as a fighting, killing, and sex machine. Soon, Machine spots the enemy approaching their tank and alerts the others. They gear up, and as the enemies surround Fury, Machine shoots one through an open hatch, initiating the battle. Against overwhelming odds, they fight throughout the night, using grenades and blowing up enemy tracks and hiding spots in nearby buildings. As the German soldiers retaliate, Wardaddy's command helps the five gain an advantage, taking down many enemies. However, their ammo starts running low. Wardaddy decides to leave the tank to fetch more, ordering Gordo and Machine to cover him. They use smoke grenades and provide cover fire as Wardaddy gathers ammo, quickly returning inside once he's done. As Wardaddy tries to re-enter, enemies climb onto the tank. He fights them off but gets shot, fortunately not fatally. Bible tends to his wound and they share another Bible verse. Meanwhile, the Germans prepare to swarm them with continuous attacks, including using Panzerfausts. In a tense silence, both sides cautiously engage, especially Wardaddy's group with their dwindling ammo. The Germans fire Panzerfaust and a 5 retaliate. Tragically, a Panzerfaust hits Fury, fatally injuring Kunas. Bible mourns, but Wardaddy urges him to stay focused as they're still in the midst of battle. Despite their efforts, the 4 remaining soldiers struggle against the overwhelming number of German soldiers. As the shootout continues, both sides exhaust their ammunition. The soldiers are left with only their hand weapons and Fury's 50 machine gun. The Nazis, aware of their dwindling bullets, prepare to finish them off. Inside Fury, the 4 soldiers prepare to exit, and another shootout erupts. Wardaddy takes position at the machine gun, while the others arm themselves. Bible runs out of bullets and steps out to retrieve one from a dead enemy. Meanwhile, Gordo is shot while attempting to throw a grenade. Despite his injury, he sacrifices himself by shielding Wardaddy and Machine from the grenade blast. Now only 3 of them remain against the German soldiers. Outside, a Nazi soldier catches Bible trying to take his weapon and pins him down. Another enemy approaches, but Machine arrives and saves Bible. They return to the tank as the enemies deploy smoke grenades. Meanwhile, a camouflaged enemy sniper approaches Fury slowly. Wardaddy, in the midst of the fight, calls for a grenade from Bible, but as Bible pops out of the hatch, he is shot in the head by the sniper. The sniper takes another shot, hitting Wardaddy. Attempting to finish him off, the sniper fires again, but Wardaddy manages to retreat into the tank. Inside, Wardaddy and Machine have a heartfelt conversation. Machine confesses his fear, and Wardaddy admits to feeling the same. Machine considers surrendering, but Wardaddy warns him of the likely torture he faces. Outside, enemy soldiers swarm the tank and drop grenades. With a final look at Wardaddy, Machine escapes through the tank's bottom hatch. He tries to hide in mud, but a compassionate young German soldier discovers him and lets him live. The next morning, Machine is stirred awake by the sound of a passing white horse. Returning to the tank, he covers Wardaddy's body. Hearing noises, he arms himself with Wardaddy's revolver, ready to defend. To his relief, the hatch opens to reveal American soldiers who declare him a hero and take him into an ambulance. The movie concludes with a shot of Fury, heavily damaged, surrounded by dead German soldiers, and Machine, formerly Norman Ellison, as the sole survivor. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to check out our other recaps popping up on your screen right now.